Nick Foles. Of course, it is the Super Bowl MVP. So I ask you, gentlemen, putting him up against backup QB Nick Foles, who gets the best of who? Which version of Foles? The MVP one or the backup quarterback that we've seen throughout his career?
Yes, the MVP one is the better version. The question is, what do we get in 2018, 2019, 2020? I am going on record and saying I think this is the version of Nick Foles. I honestly do. He's got the perfect accompanying parts. He's got the perfect coaching staff right now, and he's got the perfect juju in the building. It's going to be a wonderful thing to see Carson Wentz take the field. But anytime Nick Foles steps into a supermarket, anytime Nick Foles steps into a Wawa, anytime Nick Foles steps into that building, he's going to be a hero. On the field, I do believe that he played his best game in the biggest spot in the NFC Championship game and then got better in the Super Bowl. I said it on Monday's show. That was maybe the best performance I've ever seen from a quarterback in a Super Bowl performance. It was unbelievable.
Now, which version will we see throughout his career?
This is it. We're seeing this version for the rest of his career. Peter just mentioned stepping into a gas station, stepping into a grocery store. How about stepping into a loaded offense? And that's what every offense is supposed to be. They're supposed to surround their quarterback with talent. When he had LaShawn McCoy, Deshaun Jackson, and tight ends, what happened? 27-2. He came into this offense with LeGarrette Blount, J.J., Corey Clement, the wide receivers, tight ends. What did he do? The man won the Super Bowl. So when he's surrounded by talent, which every team is supposed to do with their quarterback, we see a Super Bowl version, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I'm not afraid to say it. I said it when he took the starting job over Carson Wentz when he got hurt, that this guy is a good quarterback, and when he has talent, he's one of the best in the league. And if he's surrounded by talent, he's going to do the same thing. He's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the entire NFL.
Surrounded by talent, the right personnel. I think the answer is somewhere in between. I think the consistency. I don't see how winning a Super Bowl all of a sudden makes you.
Doesn't it give you more courage? Doesn't it give you more confidence? Don't you walk around with a little bit more swag? Like, I've done it.
A little bit more value. I don't necessarily think that he needed swag. Nick Foles sort of plays sort of recklessly, like he doesn't care what anybody thinks anybody, and it's sort of internal the way that he's motivated. I don't think he needs anything else. But I'm just talking from an X's and O's standpoint. That offensive line isn't getting enough credit for their performance. We just looked at, Kelsey dressed as I don't even know what he's dressed as out there. They didn't get close to Nick Foles all game long. Is that going to follow him his entire career? I feel like it was a bit of a perfect storm situation. They didn't have Jason Peters in this offensive line. Somehow was crazy productive and stout and amazing, and those surrounding pieces and the personnel and Reich and Peterson. So I don't know. I think we're going to see something very in between. This is a perfect storm that should be celebrated.
We fall in love with quarterbacks so easily on the show, and I do too. And we have recency bias about quarterbacks that play good. Just think about those highs, and I'll continue to say them. 27-2, 7 touchdowns in one game, beating some of the best players and defenses in the game, and then being the Super Bowl MVP. There's highs that, quite frankly, some of the top-paid quarterbacks will never accomplish. They can play for the next 10 years and won't do some of the things Nick Foles has already done. I feel like what we see now in Nick Foles this year is who he's going to be.
And if he takes a dip, like let's say how Dak Prescott regressed in his second year, when a lot of people didn't see that coming.
If he takes a dip, he's just like every other quarterback in the league.
Right, so I'm saying, isn't it fair to expect that he's not going to play at this high ceiling level always?
Yeah, I would assume.
You think he's going to play his MVP level the rest of his career?
If he's surrounded by talent and has an offensive line, he's comfortable in the system, yes.
I saw it in the two biggest spots with the brightest of stages. I can't doubt him.